I thank you guys on coming back for another one. Like, comment, and subscribe at the end of the video if you have enjoyed everything that you've been listening to and if you learned anything new. So we're going to go over flatbed today. As you guys know, I'm an AVF freight line haul Teamster driver. And my time at Melton Truck Lines was one of the best experiences of my life. When I was at JB Hunt, I remember my driver trainer told me, whatever you do, don't ever go over the road, he said. And this is where I learned that, even when I tell you guys, I've said many times, union's the best way to go, the health benefits, the pension. You got to do in life, you guys, what it is that you want to do. Anything that you want to tackle as a man or as a woman, you owe it to yourself to try. My reason for going to Melton Truck Lines and leaving JB Hunt wasn't only because of money. I knew that as a flatbed driver, I would gain an invaluable amount of knowledge and experience. And going over the road, at the time I was looking at moving out of state, out of California. And I knew that being an over-the-road driver would give me the opportunity to see different lifestyles, an opportunity to see what weather is like in all these other states, what I'd be dealing with if I did in fact move my family out of this. How much would life change? And in the end, I grew a much bigger appreciation for the state of California. As crazy as our politics can be here and as disgusting as some areas have gotten, this nonetheless is home. And just bought my home here in Apple Valley, California. And we got a lot of space here. We got about close to a half an acre of land, and it's a 3-bed, 2-bath house. (1,797 square feet of, actual living space. And it's now opened the door, for the future, equity. If things get real crazy here, be able to sell and just go to a freer state to live, right? But being at Melton Truck Lines, I think, was a very memorable experience, not just because of the places that I was able to visit. I had a few favorite spots where I like to take my 34-hour resets, and my driver manager was very good about working that out with me. But she's definitely, Stacy, big shout out to you, definitely one of the biggest reasons why my time at Melton Truck Lines was so good and so memorable. And also a shout out to Abby. She's a driver recruiter at Melton Truck Lines that I first made contact with about coming on board. And we were a great team with helping drivers and informing them, right? My videos would attract them to the company. I talked to them give them the truth about what they were going to go through. Even though most of the drivers that I brought over left within 3 to 6 months, at least they were able to get a sense of what flatbed is really like. Because flatbed, not only is it very hands-on, but you're going to gain an enormous sense of pride, experience, and confidence. Okay, especially when you're put with a good trainer. Now, I didn't have a trainer. In fact, my training was only a week long because I already had 1 year of tractor trailer experience. I wasn't going to go over the road with the driver trainer, but they give all of us a handbook on how to secure these various different loads. I've done steel coils. matters that there's no vibration. If there's vibration, loosen it up. Do it again. Let me grab another binder, let you look at another one. A lot of flat steel. Lots of rebar, lots of wooden and steel building material, all shapes and sizes. There was a customer by the name of Brightwood up in Madras, Oregon. I went to a lot of, Oregon was home for a lot of these companies like Sunrun, you know, this whole electric initiative that's going on, but these big solar fields, I visited a lot out there, delivering, picking up, whatnot. A lot of private properties I've been on, you know, construction sites, these warehouses that move steel freight via these huge magnets, and you're like, damn, if the power was to cut out, like, boom, you know, that's some very dangerous work environments. And these places can be enormous, and some of them can be very small with very limited space to move around, and you really got to have your head on a swivel at all times. Situational awareness is, if you're not, you know, on the up and up, things can go south really fast. And the headset that I wore and that I still wear is an Aeropex Aftershocks. They're bone conduction technology, noise canceling headphones. You put in one earplug so that you can hear who you're talking to better, but the thing is that they can hear you very well because it has the noise canceling capability. I'll leave a link in the description box below, but I've been using that headset since my time at Melton, so it's been a few years now. The thing I liked about it is I could wear that and have my hard hat on at the same time. So, very ergonomic system, the way they constructed that headpiece. Much. It works well, it has a good battery life. I think it's worth it. It's only $150 compared to the Blue Parrot, you know, 250 plus, you know, no thanks. That's just my opinion. Now, like I said, when it came to driver recruiter, you know, ask for Abby Clayton. She does a really good job informing you on what there is. I have a plethora of information with Melton Truck Lines that you guys can look up here still on YouTube. But the places, now let's get down to the places that I visited. Melton does have very good driver trainers there. And places that I visited, most memorable: Lancaster, New Hampshire, New Jersey. In Chicago, okay, right down the street from the Bulls Stadium basketball, on Madison and Loomis, is the Palace Bar and Grill. Best staff in the place. What's the name of the place?
The Palace Grill. You said the best staff. What is it?
Palace Grill here in Chicago.
That's it.
What streets are we on?
Madison and Loomis. Madison and Loomis.
And the girls in there and we had fun. We made a YouTube video, and you can check that out upper right-hand corner of your screen. Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of views still to this day, but very memorable experience. It's a good video log for me to keep. That's why I do what I do. And then Lancaster, New Hampshire, like I said, a lot of rich history dating all the way back to the 1700s. Just an old style, you know, everything built by stone, and, you know, just that it just gives you that old setting, old West atmosphere. Enormous, beautiful river that goes through it. I drank out of that river with my Sawyer Mini, which is a water filtration device that I take with me, and I drank from all different sorts of streams and rivers with it.
That's good water, man.
But especially all through Oregon, Washington, New Hampshire, you know, is Colorado River. I've drank from all these rivers with that device. I did my 34-hour reset there in Lancaster, New Hampshire. I parked at this at this really nice market. I forget the name, but they sell just the biggest shrimps there. And they made really, really good sandwiches. You know, they had this really, really tasty sandwich pub there that I ate at. Get, you know, BLTs and ham, turkey, and sandwiches and stuff like that. But then heading into town, you know, wasn't that far, very small town. I'd cross the bridge over the river, and it was cold during this time. Then also in Edmond, Oklahoma, those of you guys, if you're stopping in Edmond, Oklahoma, do a 34-hour reset and visit Majors. Is a karaoke bar. Shortly before I left Melton Truck Lines to go to ABF, when I went back to that karaoke bar for, I don't know, the 5th, 6th, 7th time, I bought everybody in there a shot. I had saved like $29,000, most money I'd ever seen in my life. But that's what I saved during the year. And I bought almost everybody a shot. You know, there wasn't that many people in there, but I spent about a couple $100 that night. To me, it wasn't shit, you know. And then of course, you know, being able to accrue all that money, you know, my lady and I did that as a team. So for those of you that are in this business, you know, understand that some sacrifices will be made, right? And if you're not with a partner that understands what it is that you're trying to do to get yourselves into a better situation, you're going to need to remove yourself from that situation altogether, because there's nothing more important in this life than not only accomplishing your goals, but also having a partner that is also goal-oriented and understands what it is that you're doing, because it is positive. Another memorable location was Oklahoma City. There was this truck stop that I used to stop at. It was either a Pilot or a Flying J. Absolute crap, okay? Total crap. Don't ever take a shower there, okay? Even going to the bathroom there is questionable. I made sure that I stopped at the restroom for a shower and all that stuff at a clean truck stop before arriving there. But they had a Waffle House right next door. And then the Uber ride in the city wasn't that far. It was only a few miles. So I'd eat, clean up a little bit, get the Uber, go into town, have a good time, hit up some bars, a couple clubs, you know, have a good time by myself. Met a lot of cool people, shared my channel with them, and, you know, cut out, leave the next day. So Edmond, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Kansas, and I can't remember the cities, but when Florida wasn't sunny and bright, you know, it was just raining cats and dogs. But Tampa Bay was a memorable experience, going to the port there in Tampa. And I would always pick up these aluminum T-bars. Basically, it was aluminum that they would press in with T-shape for these other, that I would deliver to these other companies, and they would turn it into whatever it is that they would turn it into. So that load usually had to be tarped, but the strapping job and tarping, I used to finish that in about 30 minutes. I was done quick. And at that time, Melton raised their pay from $50 for tarping a load to $100 per load that you tarp. So, you know, that's an easy $100 in 30 minutes. You know, I'm getting paid for strapping and tarping, you know, on the spot. You know, if you finish a tarp job with and securement within 2 hours, that's pretty good money. You know, $100. You're basically getting paid $50 an hour to do that, and then you set out on your way, you start driving. And the way I used to do my load checks, my first load, shout out to Scott Barnes for helping me with that first load. I gave him a call. That was flat steel out in Perry, Ohio. And very memorable experience. I remember it like it was yesterday. It took me 6 hours just to do flat steel. Be very careful with flat steel. It'll cut through your straps like butter on the vibration it's going to experience while you're heading down the road. So the way I used to check my loads was every 50 miles for the first quarter of the way of my trip, and then about 100 to 150 miles halfway and a little bit more than that through the trip, and then every 150 after. That's how I do it. And anywhere that I stopped in Oregon and Washington, Wyoming, Montana is always beautiful. There's this video that I recorded high up on a hill in Wyoming, just actually heading into Montana, if I remember right. Not me. God, man. God, look at those mountains. God, look at that sun. God, look at that ground. God. And just a beautiful, gorgeous view. You know, another Melton recruitment video that I had been filming. And yeah, that was a very memorable moment. I think that river there was called, I can't think of the name right now, but I remember filming another really cool video on the Snake River in Oregon. And just beautiful, beautiful scenery. It went down into a canyon. I don't know how many feet, you guys. I mean, it looked like the Grand Canyon. It was way, way down there. It was beautiful, beautiful sight to see. And so, you know, it's just to put all of the experiences in one video just doesn't do it. You guys can chop it up with me on TikTok. I go live very often on TikTok, and you can get all questions about anything you want to talk about answered live on TikTok in real time with me. So, Mr. By the Mile on TikTok, go ahead and check me out there, and we can talk live. But with all that said, you guys, I mean, you have to do in life what it is that you want to do. I know that I swear up and down with union, right? The benefits, the pension, this and that, but you have to do what's right for you, okay? Anything in life, I want you to think of it like this, is that one day if I am so honored to pass away, to die on a deathbed, right? And know that my hour and my last breath is coming. During that time, I don't want to reflect on all the things I should have done, but I want to be happy about everything that I experienced. And I want to know that when I take my last breath, that there's so much more that I could have done and that I wouldn't be afraid to tackle it. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of think of things in that way, because we only get one life here, you know. And there's two things you can't get back in this life, and that's people and time. You're never going to get those things back once they're gone. Every second that passes, minute, hour, week, month, year, and every woman or man, good friend, acquaintance, you know, there's a purpose for everything in life the way it happens. And it's important to trust that process and to do what it is in life that you want to do. Okay? First and foremost, do what it is you want to do. It is your life. That's why it's called the present, because every day is a gift. And you need to act accordingly. Am I right? As far as Melton truck lines at the terminals, you know, a lot of party time down in Laredo. You know, there was always someone on a 34-hour reset. So we'd go and we'd hit up, you know, the bars and the restaurants and the street venues, and just a great time in Laredo and in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there were vans for you to be able to do your shopping and get your truck ready for the road. You know, re-up on supplies. There was always a Walmart around. So it was always a good time. But I liked how the Tulsa, Oklahoma terminal, and I think even the Laredo terminal, had their own doctor's office and just the best food in the cafeteria. The cafe, breakfast, lunch, and dinner was always good. And the gyms, you know, always tidy and clean, smelled nice, and, you know, good experience, very good experience. That Tulsa, Oklahoma terminal is huge. And every time you'd leave, they check your truck, check your trailer, check your load, you know, basically the whole pre-trip deal, and make sure that you're good to get out there. So you would, when you bring a load in, you'd go through there, if I remember right, and then when you leave, you go through there as well. So I like the way they run a tight ship there as far as safety goes, you know. I think if you ever got a speeding ticket going through Indiana, they would can you at Melton Truck Lines. Melton was referred to me by an owner-op company, as some of you guys may know. I wanted to become an owner-operator at one point, and this owner-op company by the name of Southern Pride referred me to a few different companies, but said I would receive the best training with Melton Truck Lines. So that's why I chose Melton. From there, I was going to go to, the plan was to go to either COTC or Smoky Point Distribution and run flatbed with them, save up even more money because I'd make more money with them as well. And then I jump my way over to hopefully buying my own truck and going to Southern Pride, doing that whole thing. But as I got to know the business more, and this is no offense to owner ops, but to me, it just isn't worth it anymore. And that is just my opinion. Hope that doesn't turn you off, but if it does, it is what it is. With that said, though, overall, the experience in flatbed gave me a sense of confidence, experience, and a tool set, a mental tool set that has been invaluable thus far in my career with trucking. So if you're thinking about going flatbed, now's probably not the best time to be moving around in companies given the current state of our economy, but wish I was filming this video a few years ago. You'd be able to go anywhere and be safe, But I've talked to a few guys that are there at Melton right now, and there was a time where it was slow for them too. I think it's still a little bit slow, but they are all still working. As far as I know, they haven't laid anybody off. But, then again, they're saving a ton of money when it comes to, health and welfare, all this type of thing. I do know that if you passed away at Melton Truck Lines, they would give your family $500,000. So, that's pretty cool. That could at least pay a home off, right? But, with that said, I have no complaints when it comes to Melton Truck Lines, is what the gist of it is. As you've seen, for the most part, I've been smiling throughout the duration of the video. They've been nothing but good to me. I'd go out and visit my sister and her husband, who's a UPS driver in Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. Beautiful city. Just always the most memorable sunsets and sunrises. With Melton Truck Lines over the road.